Welcome, folks. It's Monday, April 27th, and welcome to Uplifted. We are in Romans chapter number 2, and we've been looking at judgment, where God warns us not to judge others. And the truth is, in our society today, there's a lot of talk about judgment and the judging of others. And of course, the preaching and teaching of truth is not the judgment he's talking about here. But as we think about our heart and judgment of others, we're warned about this because it is not spiritually healthy for us. When I get a judgmental attitude toward others, it could be toward other Christians, or it could be toward a segment of society. It's not spiritually beneficial for me. I need to be willing to judge me and judge my own behavior. You see, we heard last week that I must not try to be God's policeman, God's judge, God's jury, and God's executioner. And often when we have a judgmental spirit toward others, that's exactly what we become. We start to look for things in people's lives, and we then begin to pass a judgment of guilt, determine what their payment should be, and then look to carry out that execution. And we're warned against that here in Romans chapter number 2, when he says here, "And thinkest thou this, O man, that thou judgest them which do such things, and doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of God? Or despisest thou the rich of his goodness, and forbearance, and longsuffering, not knowing that the goodness of God leadeth thee to repentance?" And so we see here that we are challenged about having this judgmental spirit. I think of Matthew chapter number 7, where it says, "Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again." We're actually talking a little bit about this in our Sunday morning parable series, as we're talking about the unforgiving servant. And he was very unable to pass proper judgment on somebody who owed him something, but yet was so willing to accept forgiveness for something much greater in his own life. And that's the struggle we face. I need to keep myself away from getting into God's area, God's responsibility, because my job is to throw out the lifeline to the hurting. My job is to be a help to the struggling. He goes on to say, "And why beholdest the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye?" You see, if I'm not going to deal with my own problem, it's going to be pretty difficult for me to be effective in helping somebody else. "Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, Let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, the beam is in thine own eye, thou hypocrite? First cast out the beam out of thine own eye, then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye." He says, you're going to be much more effective in helping your brother, if that's really what you want to do, if you get the beam out of your eye first. Of course, that's what we saw last week, that God was teaching us when he was teaching Peter, and said, that when thou art converted, now you can help somebody else. And then also in the life of David, after David's heart got right, he said, now I can help others. What is it when we judge? First, we neglect to deal with our own sin. Second, we mistreat the hurting and the lost rather than help the hurting and the lost. And thirdly, we despise the goodness of God when we have a spirit of condemnation and not a spirit of restoration. Doesn't the Bible say that because we are restored, we have been given the ministry of reconciliation? So I want to encourage you to regularly deal with your own sin, that you and I might be effective in helping others rather than just passing judgment on others. Get the beam out of your eye so you can help those around you that are struggling with things they have in their own also. I hope you are uplifted today. God bless you.
I looked around one day as my life fell apart. Would anyone help me to find my way? I knew I needed you, Lord, to heal my wounded heart. I needed you while others turned away. You were there when I was weary. You were there when I was strong. You were there when I had burdens that last the whole night long. You were there in the midnight to show me that you cared. Every time I thought I'd fall, you were there. At times I was so low, not wanting to go on, not knowing that your presence was so near. But then I'd feel your touch and hear your gentle voice whispering, there's no need for you to fear. You were there when I was weary. You were there when I was strong. You were there when I had burdens that last the whole night long. You were there in the midnight to show me that you cared. Every time I thought I'd fall, you were there. You were there when I lost loved ones dear to me, and you helped me to survive upon life's raging sea. Lord, I need you for my trials I cannot face alone. I'll still need you when I take my journey home. You were there when I was weary. You were there when I was strong. You were there when I had burdens that last the whole night long. You were there in the midnight to show me that you cared. Every time I thought I'd fall,